Airport Zoning Commission for March 4, 2020 are called to order concurrently at 6:15. Pledge allegiance will be led by Commissioner Ortiz, please.
Hand over your heart, everyone. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Secretary, will you please call the roll?
For Chairperson Smith,
Present.
Vice Chair El Shanable,
Present.
Commissioner Ortiz,
Present.
Commissioner Caraveo,
Present.
Commissioner Richard is absent today.
Oral communications. Please note the rules for meeting decorum on the screen. In the interest of time, these will not be read, but be advised that the Planning Commission will adhere to these standards. This is the time for the public to address the Planning Commission and the Airport Zoning Commission for items not on the agenda. Please note that if an item is scheduled as a public hearing, you will have an additional opportunity to speak when the public hearing is opened or continued. Comments made now regarding items scheduled for a public hearing will not be included in the official record of public testimony for that item. If anyone would like to address the commission on items that are not on the agenda, please come up to the podium. Please address your comments to the commission as a body and not to individual commissioners directly. Only very brief responses may be given to questions asked on topics not on the agenda. Please keep remarks to 3 minutes. Is there anyone? Go right ahead, sir.
Hello, my name is Steve Urich, and I'd like to discuss that issue that's, I guess, forthcoming on the Planning Commission regarding a halfway house / transitional house at 12312 Inglewood Avenue. I appreciate that we need these types of houses and capability of doing the rehab and stuff. However, it's less than a half a block away from a park. It's on the way to school. The lawn of school is right down the street from this place, roughly 2 blocks. People are going to be coming back, students are going to be coming back and forth. About 18 months ago or so, one of the tenants of the house that's been operating, and I'm not sure why they need to come forward now because they've been operating for 2.5 years. Is that unethical? I would think so. But one of their tenants started throwing large asphalt blocks against the garage or the unit I have, which is next to it. Now just imagine if they'd been throwing those rocks at students or a mother taking her daughter to the park. How would that reflect on the city of Hawthorne? More recently, we had one of those people who started stealing from our unit packages that were left. Again, that just kind of speaks to the type of supervision that the management company of the place next door is, again, providing their people that are underneath their care. We also found out that our tenants were calling me and saying, there's no room in the trash can. And we found out that they were using our trash can for the last 2.5 years. We called the city, they came out, they verified that. And so we called them back and said, listen, here's the city document saying you don't have a trash can. You need to have one of your own. And they were very dismissive for the management company that called. One female called upset saying, I just had to deal with that person. He was just, very rude and dismissive. Again, is that the type of company we want to have trying to go ahead and rehabilitate people? I don't think so.
Okay. Mr. Secretary, do you have any comments on that you might could help us with?
This item wasn't ready for discussion yet unless it was noticed, but staff wasn't ready to present this item. And at this point in time, there's no future date that we plan on taking this item. When that time comes, we'll be able to agendize it again. As far as the issue of whether it's operating illegally or not, that's something I've already took note to address with code enforcement to see if something can be done.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I was just, at the last, when it was originally scheduled and was told it was being rescheduled to tonight. So again, look forward to showing up back when they have that next hearing. Thank you very much for your time and effort.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no one else, I will close oral communications. Planning Commission and Airport Zoning Commission consent calendar. Are there any items? No items, okay. Recess Airport Zoning Commission. We'll have the Planning Commission consent calendar, and there are no items. Continued public hearings. Continued use permit 2019 CU10. Now is the time and place to open the public hearing to consider conditional use permit number 2019 CU10. Senior Planner Chris Palmer will present a staff report.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. Conditional use permit 2019 CU10 is for an auto repair facility. The auto repair facility is located at 13622 Inglewood Avenue. The zoning is C3, which is general commercial. It's located on the east side of Inglewood Avenue between 136th Street and 137th Street. The existing building is 1,200 square feet, and it's surrounded currently by a mix of warehouse, industrial uses, and a car wash is directly to the north. It complies with the Hawthorne Municipal Code. They're proposing 5 spaces. They're going to have 3 employees at the most. All activity will be conducted within the existing building, and the hours of operation are between 7 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. actually. This is the site plan. Excuse me. This is the existing site plan, and they're not proposing any changes. They actually had 2 additional parking spaces that were non-conforming, so we asked that they remove those spaces. And they still have enough, and they have, they're proposing landscaping along the outdoor visitor parking. And they're proposing it at this location because Public Works wanted a buffer so that cars wouldn't overhang onto the street. If you were getting in and out of your vehicle, it wouldn't be abutting to the sidewalk. These are some existing site photos. This is looking east at the existing building, and then this is looking west from, this is an interior view of the building. These are interior photos, and they're not proposing any construction. They're not proposing any tenant improvements. They're just going to utilize this existing space as is. This concludes my report. Staff is available for any questions. We recommend approval of the project, and it is categorically exempt. It's an existing facility. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does the planning commissioners have any questions for staff?
Will it be doing any like painting there, or is it just?
They didn't mention that they would be doing any painting, and I don't see where they have the facilities to paint. So I don't know that they would do that. And this is intended for minor repair. So the difference between minor repair and major repair is basically the car being there overnight. They're not going to do anything that should keep the car overnight.
And then do we have any special conditions if they were to paint cars at that location?
We don't have any conditions for them to paint cars. The building and safety has conditions for like spray booths and whatever that goes along with having a spray booth. So they would have to get a permit to do a spray booth if they were considering that.
Okay.
No? I have none. Is the applicant present? Do they wish to speak?
The applicant is not present, but they were in agreement with the conditions of approval.
Okay. Seeing no one else who wishes to address the commission on the issue, Mr. Secretary, are there any documents to place in the administrative record, such as late communication?
No, there are not.
Thank you. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any final comments on this item or questions from staff? Okay. I now formally close the public hearing on this item. Call on my fellow commissioners for a vote on this item. Do I have a motion?
I would like to motion approval with two conditions. Limiting the work to only during the business hours, the specific business hours, and then storing all vehicles on site after business hours.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. So a motion has been made with conditions and seconded. Will the secretary please call for the vote?
It's okay. It's fine.
Is there a motion to adopt Planning Commission Resolution number 2020-02 approving conditional use permit number 2019 CU10?
Yes.
And then it was seconded by, I think,
Ortiz.
by Ortiz. There you go.
Chairperson Smith,
Yes.
Vice Chair Al-Shanable,
Yes.
Commissioner Ortiz,
Yes.
Commissioner Caraveo,
Yes.
Commissioner Richard is absent.
Okay, moving
I'll
on.
say something. Just to
New
make-
public hearings, there are no items.
Very quick, Chairperson, if I can
I'm
just,
sorry.
I wanted to make sure that staff got the conditions. Did you got
I did.
the
I got the
add?
conditions.
You got them?
Yes.
Okay. So we will go back and we will ask the applicant to agree to that. So obviously the conditions have to be agreed upon by the applicant, so we'll do that too. We'll do that as well. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Now I'll recess the Planning Commission, call back to order the Airport Zoning Commission. Airport Zoning Commission consent calendar. Are there any items? No items, okay. Airport Zoning Commission new and or continued public hearings. There are no items in that. Now call back to order the Planning Commission concurrently with the Airport Zoning Commission. Next item is administrative items.
Chair,
Yes.
right now, we're looking at the way that it was agendized for one of our presentations regarding the ADUs and junior ADUs. And we have a concern from our planning attorney that perhaps we didn't agendize this correctly. And so we're going to go ahead with the SB 330 preliminary application presentation at this time.
Okay. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. Just very briefly, I'd like to explain what SB 330, Senate Bill 330 is. It's known as the Housing Crises Act of 2019, and it affects the processing of all housing development projects defined as projects. And in the draft application that was provided to the Commission, it lists the types of housing developments, including transitional housing or supportive housing. The act is intended to streamline the housing projects that are subject to discretionary review within the city. And there's details in the application requirements that would need to be submitted. Some of the main things is that it requires a preliminary application. We must have a complete application within 180 days after the preliminary application is submitted. And we can only have a maximum of 5 public hearings after the project has been deemed complete. So what that means is that we only have one opportunity to request the information because we cannot go back and forth. And so it is important that our application reflects the requirements of SB 330, and we can't ask for more than what the bill asks. So that is briefly what this is, and the application that the draft that we put together was for your review, make sure that it looks pretty good. And I do recall that Commissioner Caraveo had been asking if we were prepared. So we're hoping that we're prepared now, and this is what we have for that. And that concludes my explanation or presentation of this. Thank you.
Did everyone get a copy of this?
Yes.
Okay.
The government code section that established SB 330, yes.
We supposed to take it home and read it and have a test, 150 essay
I'm
question
gonna,
test?
I'm gonna ask what it says on 65941.1-3, no. I know, it's pretty dense, it really is, but,
Thank you.
okay.
And so what was included in the packet was just the pre-application?
The preliminary application
Mm-hmm.
and just a couple of the government code sections that are mentioned within the pre-application.
Okay. And then are we required, is that a required application or?
It is a required application in order for us to be able to process this and meet the requirements of this law.
So they submit that one first and then
Right.
they submit the actual application.
Then they submit the actual application, and they have to submit all of the items that are requested here.
Okay. And
That's
then
my understanding of the regulations.
And then what about the actual application? Is that one like specific and listed out like that has all the details for what we're asking for?
So in the preliminary application, it has all the details of what we're asking for. Then we have a master application that has the details of the discretionary items such as the radius map and labels and those sorts of things. So there is a master application that the department uses for
Okay.
all of our discretionary application, or
Okay.
projects, I should say.
And that's available online for people to look at or?
I believe it is available online. If it's not, we'll make sure that we place it online. The master application. I thought, yes, it is.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. That's it?
That's it. This completes my report. I just wanted to make sure that the commission knows that we are on top of this and we have everything ready to go. We do need to establish a fee for the preliminary application, but that's separate.
Okay. And what about the governing code section 65589.5?
655. Oh. 655.
89.5. Anyway, it's on the agenda for.
Oh, that's for the ADUs. Yeah, it's the second one.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's it.
just to clarify what our secretary was saying earlier, because it's listed in this manner, it's a bit vague as to what exactly we were talking about. A member of the public wouldn't know that that's, for example, ADU law. And even though we wrote it out, ADU government code section, it really should have been a little bit more specific. And rather than trample on our good friend, the Brown Act, right, we'll just have this discussion later. Basically, what we were going to do is provide you truly a brief overview because it's a very complicated, nuanced law. But we wanted to at least give you a framework. We are still working on the ordinance, and a lot of cities are still working on their ordinance. So we wanted to give you a brief intro, but we'll keep talking about this for several months. So we'll bring this back, this overview that we were going to do for you, a little half-hour presentation. We'll bring it back for the next meeting, and then in a couple meetings after that, we will try to bring you a draft, and because we've been working on this ordinance for some time. So.
Okay.
It was a little confusing, and let's err on the side of caution and just talk about this at the next meeting.
Okay, good. Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay,
There is one other announcement I can
Yes,
make,
please.
Chair. If you don't know, our former associate planner, Maria, has been promoted to senior planner. So that took effect March 2nd.
Congratulations.
That time.
Thank you.
Glad to hear that.
Yes.
Yes,
We're
me
very happy
too.
for you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Commissioner reports. Do any of the commissioners have any reports you'd like to?
I just quickly want to ask, have we all done the ethics training for this term?
I think you have. I think we did check, And my assistant told me that he got everyone to comply, at least all the commissioners, last year. So if
That's
you
what
did
I
it last
remember.
year, then you're not due yet. You're not due until next
That's
year.
why I asked, because I received the email, and then if my memory serves me correctly, I do remember that it wasn't that far away that we did it. And
Yeah.
okay, so we're
Yeah.
fine until
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah.
But the Form 700, which we just
coming
did,
up.
That's
yeah.
a separate, yeah.
But I love the online version of it. They gave us the password and the username, temporary password. It was very easy to enter, and it was submitted online. I just gave one just in case.
Yes.
But the submission online is very easy.
I haven't done it yet, so I'm glad to hear that.
It's really easy. They already created our username and our password temporary,
Awesome.
and then you just log in, you change your password, and you have the account. You can access it anytime, and you can
that's
print
good.
it. It has previous forms that are filled. It's really easy. I mean, I thank whoever did it. Thank you.
Life is changing for everybody, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything's
Yes.
going to be computerized.
Digital.
Well, yes, that's good.
Yeah.
I think the deadline for that is April
4th, I believe.
4th or 1st.
I'm not
It's
sure.
in April.
Yeah.
I always do it before April,
Yes.
but it's due in April, so that's good. But yes, in terms of AB 1234, you guys should be compliant. We checked,
Yes.
and everyone had done their training. So next year I'll do it again,
Yes.
and then we will. You'll all have to come.
So if we do it this year, does it mean next year we don't have to do it?
That's
or-
right.
Okay.
That's right.
Every
Every
2
2 years.
Every 2 years.
You're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. That's it. Thank you.
No comments.
Last month marks a year of me being on the plan commission. So
Oh,
Congratulations. Yay.
that was it.
Yeah.
Chair, if I may?
Yes.
Just one reminder from staff, when we send out agendas and whatnot, sometimes we're not sure whether or not you receive them or not. And so if you could try and make an effort to reply and just say, got it, or thanks, or something, that helps us keep a peace of mind and not worry about whether or not you got the packet or whatnot. So we'd appreciate that.
We will.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure. We'll do that.
We will.
Okay, anything further from the commissioners?
Not for me.
If not, we'll adjourn this very long meeting at 6:35.
Thank you.